one of the first pictures of Crown Heights. Let's see if we can come up with it here. Right. Thing is, over here you have the markers. I want to look at this without the markers. Let me see if I can find it. Facebook. Okay, messages. Here you go. Okay, this is one of the earliest pictures of Crown Heights. At some point, someone will have to write an AI program to figure out how to explain what's going on, because it's, unless you really do a lot of research, you don't really know what you're looking at. So I'm standing on the vantage point. Okay, the vantage point's the wrong word, but anyway, I'm standing basically here would be Montgomery Street, Crown Street, Carroll Street, and then President Street. That's what I'm looking at here. Right here was what became Kingston Avenue. It's very hilly. President Street, I'm assuming this is like President Street or Eastern Parkway. On the top of the hill, the highest point was President Street, so that you can see here. But there's another hill, so I would assume that was along President Street or potentially along Eastern Parkway, but generally President Street's the highest point. And so there's a golf course, and then Eastern Parkway is all along the ridge here. That's Union Street. Now, first all the way to the left, these are houses on Union Street. So it's actually I wouldn't say 1901, I think it's 1903, this picture. And this is a spotless town right here. It was surrounded by a gate, and it had a doorman, had a guard, as we know. And you could see that all these houses were semi-detached, and that's what Union Street is today. I don't think you see, so you could see President Street, nothing was built. There actually were three houses down here, all the way to the edge of President Street and Brooklyn Avenue, but this was the main one-story structure that served as the center of the golf course that came out of the Bedford and Dean upscale, very wealthy, compared to today, Billionaires Row. I forgot what the word is. They had their social club or social gathering place for, upscale, for very wealthy New Yorkers. They lived basically way down this way, St. John's, way down the Crown Heights North, and they needed a place for golfing, so they made a deal with the Eastern Parkway Company that they're going to be able to use this area for golf. And after half a year, it all grew in. It was a beautiful golf course, but as the years went on, 1901, so 1902, 1903, by 1904 or 5, they already had tracks with the trolley down Kingston Avenue over here. They put down the tracks, and then they had a lawsuit in 1903. That was a lawsuit between the developers and the city, but eventually the trolley was actually built. But this is Eastern Parkway. This is Union Street right here. Now, this is the corner of President Street and Kingston Avenue. President going this way, Kingston Avenue going this way. And this building was eventually taken down, and it became the beautiful mansion for Dr. A.J. Sumner. Dr. A.J. Sumner sold it to another doctor, or maybe got passed through hands one more time, and then eventually became the Tzivos Hashem building. Fascinating story how that happened. But this is one of the earliest pictures of Crown Heights. That's from a newspaper talking about this golf course. Right here, this is a building on Albany and Eastern Parkway. It was the Duffy's Inn, all that stuff. There's a possibility that this inn was somehow connected to the show called Murphy's, because there's a myth with Murphy's, but it was also called Duffy's and Con Duffy's, and there's like 5 different names to it. Perhaps they switched this land to diagonally across the street to the land that became Chavetera. I don't know. That whole story with Murphy's is a myth as well. It's not a myth. It's not been proven. I looked all over for that story. I just found it on one old website. And people used to repeat it then. So, like they say, either yes or no. We don't know. But this is the first picture of, this is literally the first picture of Crown Heights. Imagine a lot of green. I don't know what this is. It seems like it's just a hill of a mountain. that they had to get rid of. Crown Heights, if you remember, was very mountainousy. A lot of mountains, a lot of hills. There was the edge of a ridge, so President Street was the top of the hill, top of the mountain, and it went sloping down, and especially on Albany and Crown and Brooklyn, it went straight down like a cliff. So they had to put a lot of land there, and they had to put a lot of earth, so they had to put a retaining wall there. So that's what you were dealing with over there. This, I don't know, this looks like trees, trees, trees. Um, there were still squatters probably still around, although you can't see any of their shacks. Actually, no, squatters were cleared out because they already had the, you already had the developers come and buy the land, and Eastern Parkway Company already did that. All right, so here you have Crown Heights, I think it's 1901 or 1903. I would say this is 19, I don't know. It's between 1901 and 1903. So, like I showed you before, Union Street was already built. President Street, only 3 houses between Brooklyn and New York, and this Union Street was already built. Eastern Parkway was not built yet. 1908, they put up these 2 buildings, 788 and 784. And the picture that I showed you before was taken from around here, or maybe from around here, and therefore you could see the Gulf House and you could see Union Street, but it was taken on such an angle you cannot see these 3 buildings. These 3 buildings is actually much closer to Brooklyn Avenue. But then, of course, you have the whole golf course here, and as we saw, it's pretty big. It went from Albany Avenue all the way to New York Avenue, and all the way to Empire Boulevard. You had a water pond here. That makes sense. More water, actually. You did have, that you forget to mention, Brooklyn and Crown and Brooklyn, yep, right here. They mentioned, one of the old timers mentioned that Crown and Brooklyn had a fish pond. So that was here. But they had a bunch of water ponds here. Now, if you go in something, everything can give you clues when you do research. I don't know what it says here. Casein water, high hills, okay. I guess that makes sense. Casual water, I don't know what that means, and water. Now, I don't play golf, so I have no idea what they're talking about here with all these things. The yard, the finish, the total. Other people would know. They'd be like, oh, this is what they're talking about. Okay. Okay, so this is the this is the picture, but laid out with, over here. No. This is the picture explained better. So cleared up a little bit. Kingston Avenue, President Street, Union Street. They're playing golf. And I'm standing, the photographer standing about probably Albany, Albany, maybe even between Albany and Troy. No, Albany and Crown or Montgomery. And they're taking this picture. It's on an angle. Kingston Avenue should be here, not here, but okay. The second green left, I see this, I couldn't figure out. This I'm assuming is from another direction. This looks like Union Street houses. Can barely tell here. I don't know, this one also, okay, so this one, I was able to figure out where it was. This one I was able to figure out. I think I lit up a picture better in a different version. And this is Union Street, it's just from a different direction. It's basically from the other side. I don't really know. I have to light up that picture a little bit more. Okay, this is a cup that they gave out. Here you go. Proposed golf club of the Eastern Parkway Golf Club. So this is it. This is the proposed golf club. It was actually built. And this is the video picture of it right here. So here, and here. And New York Avenue to Albany Avenue. Kingston and President was the main, the clubhouses. They put in clubhouse, not Brooklyn President. That was wrong, actually. They did not have the clubhouse there unless, no, I don't remember seeing that anywhere. I think it's just a mistake. It's supposed to be, clubhouse is supposed to be Kingston and President. I don't know why they put that there. Unless they built another clubhouse. I'm pretty sure that they did not. I know other things on Brooklyn Avenue were built before the Crown Heights development. And there was a farm. The farms went this way, up and down, but on an angle. But they went perfectly straight lines. So President Street Hospital was able to be built, even though there was a covenant for the rest of the block that you could only do single-family homes. They had 2 buildings here on Brooklyn Avenue, like a bar, Brooklyn Avenue and Union Street, and they started building houses here, I think even before the Eastern Parkway Company. No, by 1908. But the bottom line is they were able to do things here before anyone else came along and developed as before. But it wasn't high-end stuff. Now, I don't know why there's a clubhouse here. I actually have to figure that out. Maybe it was plenty of plan. Now, this is 1923 already, this picture. It's many years later. That was 1903, 20 years later. By 20 years later, 1414 was built. We could see the top that was originally taken off or fell off because of the wind. There was like a nice top over there. There were no stores. Later they put stores in, then they took away the stores. You could see this building, which has the Mayfits. This is the eye doctors. And then there's that one-story home, but it doesn't look like, this looks like actually a trolley coming up actually. And that further than this wasn't built. 1923, they already started building the other side of Kingston Avenue, or at least they planned it. They have this building here, a beautiful, relatively luxury, nice building. 4 stories. It's a post-World War II building. It's before, no, sorry. It's after the train station came. So, 1, 2, still only 4 stories. It's pretty big because prior to the train station coming, they built smaller buildings on a smaller scale. Once the train station came, they built massive buildings. But the main thing you're looking at right here is on President and Kingston. I forgot to tell you, President and Kingston. This is the golf club. It was already just used as a garage for many years because the golf club closed 1908, 1909, or 1907 maybe. And therefore this building went empty, so they used it as a wagon. They sold it to the buyer. It's 1923, Becker's, whatever, this house isn't built yet. So this building is here. It was also 1923. Dr. Feldman's house was completed. The fight was over this lot, the Gumbo's lot. I was in court, and they wanted to build a building similar to this, but Dr. Feldman and his name is Max Walensky, and a bunch of different people on the block came. They took him to court. It was a very long court case. I still haven't finished reading it. And that's why you're looking at the original golf club, but it's used again. It's like knocked down, used that. Okay, this is something they gave out as a gift. The Eastern Parkway Golf Club, the mug they gave out. It was at the last day of camp. I lived there all my life. 5 comments. Let's see, 1, 2 comments on the whole story. I guess when you give people like really interesting stuff, they're like, eh. When you give them boring stuff, they're like, wow, I have no idea. So that's how people are.